Recording.
Okay, dokes. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Like I said just a little while ago, if you are just recently came in and you want to speak tonight, there's speaker forms over there on the table. If you are just here and you want to listen in, if you could just sign in too as well, that would be appreciated. We have two committee meetings tonight here for Community Board 3. First one being a joint transportation committee with SLA to go over open street applications. We received two this month that we'll talk about here tonight. And then after that meeting concludes, going to ask for you, for folks who don't want to stay for the transportation committee after that, to leave, just so we can kind of keep going. Why I say that is just because we're in a time constraint in this building that we have to be out of here by 9. That means out of here at 9 that we got to clean up and out of here at 9. So that's why we're going to keep you moving. Before we get started, just a little business here. We have to just do a roll call. And let me introduce myself first too. I'm Vinny Cerrito. I'm the chair of the Transportation Committee.
I'm Clint Smeltzer. I'm chair of the SLA committee.
And we have Nancy Kong here who's going to do a roll call.
Vincent Cerrito.
Here.
Nancy Kong, present. Lee Berman.
Present.
Solomon Bletcher. Sean Garcia.
Here.
Charlie Goldenson. Michelle Coopersmith. Present. Jaja Liao. David Crane. Yes. Clint Meltzer.
Yes. Here. Present.
Stephen Ballinger.
Here.
Michael Lavario.
Present.
Yermo. Megan Joy. Sandy. Thank you.
All right, great. So with that, so our first agenda item is the DOT Open Streets. We do have Kyle from DOT. He's joining us virtually. He's just going to give a quick just overview on the Open Streets program. I'll chime in a little bit of after that. And then again, I really appreciate the big turnout tonight. That's great. Obviously, there is an agenda item that we all want to speak about, and I just want to make sure that you all are aware that we're going to limit everyone's speaking time. And again, if you want to speak, the speaker form's over there, to just 1 minute, since we do have some constraints. And we want to make sure everybody in the room who wants to speak gets a chance to speak. I'm going to ask you to also be kind of polite to those people speaking. Keep quiet. Don't overspeak. Don't hush them. Try not to clap. Try to do kind of keep the speakers speaking. Give them their 1 minute to speak. And then we'll go call on to the next one. And what else? We also received a bunch of letters for this too as well that I'll go over a minute after Kyle just speaks about open streets. Kyle, are you there?
Yes, good morning or good evening. Sorry, it threw me off for a second there. My name is Kyle. I'm from the city's Department of Transportation. We are here, of course, to talk through all of the open streets applications that the community board has received. For anyone who was at the previous meeting that we held just a few weeks ago regarding the open streets in this district, we're within the 45-day notification period, which is the time in which essentially DOT has approved all of the applications, as well as our sister agencies like NYPD, Fire Department, Sanitation, and so on. It is in the final stage before it comes to be, which is that 45-day period, like I mentioned, where anyone from the community can provide comments via the community board, elected officials, or by emailing openstreets@dot.nyc.gov. And then before we sort of fully approve it, we review all of those comments, that feedback, those ideas, and ultimately make a decision whether the application is completely approved or if any alterations need to be made, which we are, of course, always open to any alterations to the application, which could be discussed tonight and included in any feedback that the community board shares. Thank you again for having me. Sorry that I couldn't be there in person, and looking forward to the discussion tonight. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Kyle. And then just to kind of add a little bit to that. So why this is a joint meeting between Transportation and SLA is because SLA is with the liquor licenses, with bars and those types of things. And so all the open streets associated, when they have that, that's just really important to have stipulations that are signed by owners adjacent to the open streets, that type of thing. And obviously the open street is a DOT facilitated program in the city that falls into the Transportation Committee. So that's why we're a joint meeting tonight. Also, just want to talk a little bit about the difference between an open street and a sidewalk cafe. They're two separate programs, and they're actually approved separately in the community board as well. So here at the Transportation Committee, we really are not part of the sidewalk cafe approvals. That goes. Oh, and roadbed dining. Sorry. Yes. Thank you, Clint. So you have the sidewalk cafes that are adjacent to the building on the sidewalk, the pedestrian areas where people are walking on the sidewalks. That's a sidewalk cafe. Then there's the roadway bed cafe, which is in the immediate frontage of a building where they can have in a parking space. If there's a parking space in front of the building, they can set up tables there. That's the roadway bed dining program. And then this, what we're here tonight, is for open streets, which is different than those two other programs. So just want to make sure there's three programs that allow a restaurant to have seating more or less outside of their building face. If that makes sense. Sidewalk cafe, roadway bed, and then open street. And tonight we're just talking about the open street for us. There's also, yes, Susan.
When you're done, can I just talk about the stipulations for?
Of course. And so with that being said, we have two open street items tonight. So we'll talk about them. What we're going to do is we're going to allow the community partner with DOT. If they are here tonight, they can speak on behalf of their application. We're going to give them 2 minutes to speak on their application to DOT, just so we could hear that. And then after that, we will then go to those who signed into as a speaker form, and we'll do 1 minute each again for the speakers that want to speak. I'm going to have a timer here that'll go off. I know if you're in mid-sentence, you have like a very small chance to kind of go over. So kind of keep your time. I'll put up my hands maybe a little bit to give you just to know that you have 10 more seconds left. But I'm going to ask you to stop speaking after that 1 minute. Again, lots of people here want to speak. We want to hear them all. So appreciate your help with that.
So I just wanted to also mention, the community board asks business owners to sign stipulations. Everyone in this area has signed that their outdoor serving will stop at 10. And that will go on their SLA, because they also have to go to the SLA and apply to extend their license to outdoors. So part of that will be that they close at 10. So even if a street is open till 11 or 12, they're still stopped serving, and everything stops at 10.
Can I ask a question? Solomon's on Zoom. I know he can't vote, but can he participate as a committee member? I can't remember the rules.
He can participate, but not as a committee member.
Oh, okay. That's what the rules are. Are they on our website? I couldn't find them. I can't, I
They're
know he
not
did it
on-
like in
we just do
2022.
what the other.
So he can he could testify for 1 minute, but he can't discuss. Okay, let me just tell him because.
Okay, so with that, let's get going here. So with our meetings, the first open street that we have on the agenda is Forsyth Street from Canal Street to Hester Street. The Transportation's community member or partner is Neighbors on Forsyth and Time Cafe LLC. As per the DOT letter that we received from them, they're looking at having an open street on Forsyth Street between Canal Street and Hester from July 1st of 2025 to December 1st of 2025, Monday through Sunday, so all days of the week from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. And so with that is a representative from Neighbors on Forsyth here. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, good. My name is Nick Poe. I am with Time Again with Time Cafe LLC. I'm also a neighbor, lifetime neighbor. I grew up actually just a couple blocks away from here. I live just a couple blocks away from the proposed open streets on Forsyth location.
Stand up and speak.
Oh yeah.
So we
Can
can
you hear
hear
me?
you.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, so I'm Nick. I'm with Time Cafe LLC, as well as the Neighbors on Forsyth. I am a neighbor on Forsyth. I've a lifetime neighbor on Forsyth. Essentially, I grew up just a couple blocks away from here. I live very close. We are very committed to making this program as successful as possible. We understand that, like any city program, it's not universally loved, but we want to do our part to make it as well run as possible. We're committed to having really good communication with community board, with the police department, with the Department of Transit, If anyone knows this corner, they know that it's not exactly been a hallmark of safety over the past few decades. We believe with our help and with help of everyone else involved, that we can help increase not only the safety, but just the general enjoyment of the public. This is not a space for our business alone. This is a public space. We welcome everyone in the community to participate, to join in. We're here to support it and help it run efficiently and smoothly. And we're also here just to hear feedback. We want comments, and we want to work with everyone to make this a success. So we're here as neighbors, and we want this to work out well for everybody. So we're here to listen. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, and with that, we'll go. We've got those folks that had signed up. Again, if you want to speak, you need to sign up the speaker form and just hand it over to us. Clint here is going to go through, call you out, and you've got 1 minute. Try to give you a sign that you've got 10 more seconds left.
Okay, first we have Karen Liu.
Yeah, I'm a longtime resident of Chinatown and I'm a business owner at Guarantee Imports. And yeah, I'm just speaking out from just the concern around the disruption that having this open street program in that corner will bring in. Every time I visit, every time I walk past that area, I have a huge throng of crowds of people who do not care for the community, who are loud, who can be disruptive, and who do not take care of the streets themselves. I also see a crowd that is not native to the community. They don't contribute to the community in our economy. And they do not understand the historical significance that Chinatown has and the protectiveness that we need to have around its residents. This sort of just intrusion of space and the use of space is like another example of the declining area that we have for our community. And so the concern I have is just really, what does Time Again and its establishment, what will they be doing in terms of helping the community survive, helping to be inclusive of the community, helping to like manage the disruption and noise that it will pose to the residents?
That's your time. Thanks.
Thank you, Karen. Yin Kong.
Hi, I'm Yin Kong. I'm a resident here in Chinatown, also the director of Think Chinatown, a local nonprofit. We 100% support vibrant community uses of public spaces here in Chinatown. Third spaces are really important for Chinatown residents. A lot of us live in intergenerational living spaces, quite tight quarters and small tenement spaces. So public spaces like SCR Park, which this bar is adjacent to, is their living room spaces too for our Chinatown community. If you've been there, who on this board committee here has been to SCR Park at night, right? If you've been there, you know it's well loved, it's well used. Aunties and uncles are using it to exercise, to socialize. And so when a bar like Time Again comes and controls a main entry point, they're changing the character of this public space, making it exclusionary to the very people who make our public spaces vibrant. So we ask again, who is this public open street permit for? And we oppose the outsized footprints of an influence that this bar would have. I want to end to say that to this committee here, that if our voices here, many Chinatown community members are here to give our testimonies, if it's not reflected in your motions, your whereases, your decision making, we don't feel represented as Chinatown community members because we've seen that before. Thank you.
Thanks. And so I'm putting my hand up, trying to give everyone a minute. I really hope you respect it. I really don't want to cut you off in mid-sentence. So just, use my hand as that 10 seconds left. Wrap it up if you want to get your last statement in there. We want to make sure we hear everyone.
I just want to make you aware there are people online that want to speak also.
Thank you.
Next we have Mitchell Grubler.
I'm Mitchell Grubler. I represent the Bowery Block Association. I'm also a very close neighbor. I live at Confucius Plaza. My apartment faces the offending bar. As a matter of fact, they are bad neighbors. They're bad actors. Just last week, I had to close my windows because the music coming from that bar was so loud, it was disrupting me. This is supposed to be an open street for the community, not just for people who are drinking on the street. In Chinatown especially, it needs to be public space for children to play, for aunties and uncles to be out in the cold weather. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Julian Hanbush. Hanbush.
Hi, my name is Julian Hahn Bush. I've been a part of the LAS Chinatown community since I was a kid, and I'm also an activist. I helped stop a white-owned company from trademarking Chinatown, and it made them change their name at great expense. I'm actually here surprisingly in support of this bar. I met these people today. I don't know them. I'm very selfish. It's the only bar where there's no reservations. It's counter service. It's democratic. I live in this neighborhood. I have friends join me. I can't just on a nice day go out and have a drink with any of my friends except for this place. And to be honest, parking spaces are not a good use of land. And I'm really disappointed to see so many people that I really, really care about in this community really going to bat for parking cars that cost more than a teacher's salary. So yeah, I think that Time Again can really use their space for the community a lot more. They're closed most of the time. They can do mahjong, community workshops. This is really nervous standing up against my community because I support you guys. I defend Chinatown 100%, but a parking lot next to the park is not it. Thank you.
Thanks. And again, we're just gonna keep comments down, please. Thank you. And then just for folks that are online, if you want to speak, if you could put your hand up, we'll try to get, have your hands up. Okay.
Next, we have Bakwa Kotang.
Hello. I want to quote what Open Streets is for from New York City government. It's to promote economic development. For who? The bar? For the Chinatown businesses. Quote, to support schools. I've been a school teacher for 19 years. Prior to say yes, I had to support schools, I'll be betraying all my colleagues and all the students I ever taught and I will teach in the future. There's a school right there. I quote, enjoy cultural programming. I'm not sure if the bar is having some kind of Chinese culture event. I haven't seen it. Lastly, build community. For the bar patrons, I see a building is Chinatown residents coming together to fight against this open street application.
Next, we have Alyssa Chen.
Hi, everybody. This is a really bad spot to stand, but, hi, I grew up in Chinatown. This is my first board meeting, so, I humbly am up in front of you all. I want to say I strongly oppose and condemn the process in which this open streets application has been done. And I don't think you guys did proper outreach because look at this room, look at the Instagram post that got me here, look at the outreach that this has created. You have strong opposition and there's no doubt about that. You have strong confusion about who are you actually doing this for, and that is really the most important thing for you to consider and for DOT to consider. I used to work for the city government, I work for a community center now. I understand you guys have responsibilities, but this is the ultimate responsibility. You are supposed to be here listening to us before it got to this point. And that is why I'm angry. You are practically opening a bar and trying to have this space in the geographic center of Chinatown. And you cannot ignore us. You cannot intimidate us. You have to listen to us. Am I at time? Thank you.
Next, we have Alec Reinstein.
Obviously, I'm Alec Reinstein. I'm the other owner of Time Again. Also a lifelong New York City resident. My father was also a New York City public school teacher for my entire life. So I do understand, the hesitation to have something like that so close to a school. Obviously, we would not have a liquor license if it was illegal for us to be there or if it was against regulations. We are really committed to involving the community. I want, community events to happen here. I have tried to reach out to several organizations and it's been, I haven't received much response, but that's why we're here. We want to hear what you have to say, want to hear what your ideas are, and we want to incorporate them into this program.
Next, we have May Wong.
I'm a resident of Chinatown. I could understand open street maybe near Times Square or 34th Street. But right in Chinatown, near the area that I have go to check out 2 days ago, it's near the school and very limited space. And next to it is the park. That park is already called open space. So I don't know why you still want to use that public street. The public street belongs to people, not to be privatized, to use for liquor or whatever. I pass by your bar. I see a guy at the front door. He must be the security guy. I bet nighttime is not that safe. And it's going to be very disruptive to the neighborhood. The people are working class people. They need to go to work. They need to bring children to go to school. And then the people who always drinking, buying a drink is very expensive. These people probably from outside, or they don't need to work. That's why they could come around there to party and drink, ignoring the benefits of the residents who live around that area. I hope you understand that you already have an outdoor bar, something. You have those little chairs outside the restaurant.
Thank you so
Eleanor,
much.
time.
Thank you.
Amy Chin.
My name is Amy Chin. I've been part of the Chinatown community for over 100 years with family roots dating to 1903. I'm here to oppose the full closure open street program application for Forsyth Street. This application flies in the face of the program's purpose to transform streets into public spaces open to all. One has to question why an open street is needed at all next to an open park and a pedestrian path. This is a dishonest attempt by a private business to take over a public space used by local Chinatown residents, workers, school staff, and students. It's obvious the applicant's true interest is to profit by serving alcohol to customers. They've had amplified performances and DJ music that can be heard for blocks and radiates up to apartments and upper floors, and they operate until 2 a.m. And there are many documented 311 complaints. DOT needs to properly vet the open streets program. It is being abused by restaurants and bars. There are multiple open streets in the immediate area, and DOT has not even looked at the combined effects of them. That is a busy intersection at Canal and Forsyth with cars and trucks and the adjacent
Thank you.
SBR Park.
Thank you.
They're
Time.
not opening the street for the public. They're opposite. They're closing it off for themselves and denying the public access 7 days a week. Woo!
If we can't get through all this, we're not gonna be able to hear everyone. So please stick to your 1 minute. We have to be out of this building by 9 o'clock. We have 2 meetings tonight that we have to do. So please be respectful to all the committee members here, as well as other people that want to speak tonight. Stick to your 1 minute. I don't need to keep saying and interrupting like this. Stick to your 1 minute, please. Thank you.
Minerva Chin.
Oh, hi. Thank you for having this meeting. I'm a resident of Chinatown. I'm 72 years old and I've lived most of my life in Little Italy. And now it's renamed Norlita. And also I co-founded a nonprofit and I'm currently the executive director of a Place for Kids, which operates at PS2. And I'm opposing the open street concept for Dime Square. I'm not happy with Dime Square because my families, they're exposed to what everybody was talking about, the drinking, the partying all night long. And also I'm opposing the Forsyth Plaza proposal application for open street. It's not necessary, it's by the school. I'm an educator from PS 130. I've worked there for over 30 years. And then our families don't need to, our children don't need to be exposed to drinking. And it's a poor role model for our children. And it's also, I'm very inclusive. It's not, segregating anybody. So then I'm all for diversity and to make everybody come together as a community, but it has to benefit the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Kai Ng, NG.
Yep, that's me. Good evening, community. Good evening, community. My name is Kai. I'm a running coach. I grew up in and have been a resident here for 37 years of my life. And I'm here to oppose the Time Again Bar's application for an open streets permit. This isn't about just one bar. It's about setting a precedent. Daily street closures for outdoor drinks and dining until late would turn a quiet residential area into something that's similar to a construction zone. And that's not what this neighborhood is for. Time Again is directly surrounded by families, elders, workers, and children who rely on nighttime peace and safe streets. This permit would bring late night noise, disruption, and potential danger 7 days a week. Our community is already facing displacement and cultural erasure, giving up our streets to our bar culture every night pushes longtime residents out, the very people who we are supposed to protect. Committee, we are asking you to stand with us. Drinking and dining can stay indoors. And say no to this permit. Thank you.
Dennis Riddle.
I can testify to the noise on the bar. I come in some nights down Christie Street, and it's common to see the local residents, couples dancing out in the middle of the ball field there. They have their music, but within the last week, it's not the first time, the bar is drowning them out. And I'm over on Christie Street, Christie Street, yes. All right. At our intersection at 40 Market Street, it's madness. We have 4 bars. And every night for now this past week, after 2 o'clock this morning, I have videos of it. The sidewalk there is blocked. Residents are walking out in the street. I leave the school at 5 o'clock also at Hester. Thank you.
Janice Jaworski.
Close enough. Hi. Maybe you've seen signs or buttons or T-shirts that say something like street parking is theft or something like that. It's kind of like the idea that people who have cars are using public space to store their vehicle for free. And everyone else in the city who does not have a vehicle has to pay for that. So these open streets or a single bar is much the same idea. The open streets of West 4th Block and Avenue B, those are great. They involve a community. When it's just for 1 or 2 bars or restaurants, that's everyone subsidizing the one bar or couple bars together. So I encourage you to think of using the commons for the commons. And when making your decision, think about who is benefiting, who is incurring a cost, and who is being taken advantage of. Thank you.
Justin Yu.
Thank you very much. It gave me opportunity to speak on, in front of the committee. My name is Justin Yu. I'm a Democrat district leader of 65D and the vice president of Confucius Plaza. Confucius Plaza has 762 apartments. Half of the apartment facing this bar. We are on Division, but our back to our north facing Forsyth and the Canal Street. And I live in the Confucius Plaza for 50 years, but last summer is my worst time living the building. Why? Because Time Again opened it up. They're making so much noise, we could not sleep. We could not open our window. The people working hard in the building, they come back, they need to sleep. But this bar won't allow to sleep. But now, last year, without the open street, they already made such noises. With open street, I really cannot imagine what life we are gonna have. You know, they promised this and that. We don't believe it because they had proof last summer they are the worst neighbor of ours.
Nicholas Lee.
Nicholas Lee here. Hi, I'm Nicholas Lee.
Make this short. Chinatown is my home. My grandparents immigrated here in the 1960s. We are both commercial and residential landlords in the Chinatown. I'm not sure how familiar everyone here is with Chinatown or the landscape of it, but I've walked these streets every day for my life of my life for 35 years. As landlords, we obviously know the benefits of allowing such businesses to operate the way that they do. Is because it's money. It's money. Generates money. I too, my family too, are guilty of having allowing such businesses to incur. We rent out our space to Cellar 36, which is a wine bar. And we are now seeing the negative impacts it's having on the community as it unfolds in front of us. Inviting more people like this is just to blindly use and abuse the space it's gonna encourage more people to keep coming in. I've seen the way businesses in Chinatown operate. It's a copycat thing where businesses will just hop on the next wave.
Thank you.
Granting them further access will only allow for more and more to come in. Who knows what will happen next?
Susan Lee? L-E-I, sorry.
LE.
L-E-E, yeah, I just couldn't read the last letter. Yeah.
Hi, good evening, everyone. A lot of us already spoke about the disturbances, the open alcohol, the consumption of alcohol in public space, so I'm not gonna go into that. I just want to remind everyone that Chinatown is a north. It's a naturally occurring retirement community, meaning that significant amount of residents, like Justin and like this gentleman here, who are seniors and may live, and like my friend Minerva, who lives in Chinatown. And that is not the environment that they worked for. I want them to retire comfortably because they worked so hard to build the community that it is today. So I respectfully request that this open streets program do not go forward. I also want to emphasize that the Lower East Side is also an environmental justice community. It is negatively affected by a lot of social issues, and the noise pollution will exacerbate that. Thank you.
Amir Shad?
Yeah, okay. I live within 3 or 4 blocks of the site and I work in community health. So on a macro level, there's going to be negative effects if this street goes into effect on equity, quality of life, health, gentrification. And you can use the Canal Open Streets as a case study of how all of these negative things on a macro level are going to happen. Also, I can see happening an overflow of Drunks Hysterity Park, which is a safe community space where people exercise and improve their health and socialize, all for free, which the bar is not going to provide. Also, this program of Open Streets is historically underfunded. And even though you say that you're going to do community engagement, where is the money going to come from? Are you going to fund it? Who is the staff going to be? Are you going to get volunteers? Are you going to do community outreach? Are you from the community? Do you represent the AIPI community here? That's, is extremely diverse. And then also, there's going to be quality of life effects from noise on sleep, mental health, physical health, public safety. Tenement windows are very thin. You can hear everything. This is a horrible idea and it should stop before it gets ahead. You can look at all of the terrible things that are happening with Canal Open Streets as evidence for why this should be denied.
Tommy Chung?
Hi. Hope you don't count that against my time. Hi, actually, I'm the building response team leader for Pace High School for the building of 131. I come here actually representing all 3 principals from the school. We had a safety meeting this morning regarding this specific topic. Alec, you did try to reach out. You reached out yesterday. And you said, looking forward to interface. I've long looked for a way to interface with your school to find a way so we can work to contribute something to the school. That's yesterday's email. They parked their garbage cans right next to our building without asking. We haven't said anything because so far hasn't been a problem. Yes. In his email, he says it's not gonna affect, the open streets, not gonna affect like the parking or they're gonna stay on the sidewalk. So I'm assuming that's the zone for the open streets, right? The entire street, both sides of the curb. Well, that's not true according to this. This is taking up the entire block. Why is that a problem? We have parking, ingress egress for staff who are working the building, YMCA Beacon program. We have a gym renovation happening. There's going to be family orientation, parent teacher conferences, PSL games, a Regions Week. We need to get in and out. So
Enough, I think we have to move on. Leland, you?
My name is Leland Yu, and I'm the founder and president of a nonprofit called Run for Chinatown. Our mission is to promote physical, mental, and social well-being in the Chinatown community through running. Because of my efforts, I have been named New Yorker of the Week by New York One and received citations from Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine and Assembly Member Grace Lee. 2 months ago, I was here at a similar meeting to speak against the open streets on canal application. On that day, I recall one member of the board saying something along the lines of, the community is represented here in this room today. The board ultimately voted in favor of that permit against the wishes of the Chinatown community. The Chinatown community was not represented on that day, but today we are. Converting this space into additional bar seating late into the night every day will undoubtedly lead to increased noise and sanitation issues. Not only will this diminish the quality of life, but it will also negatively impact the well-being of children in the neighborhood. If the board says no to this application, then you will have truly and accurately represented Chinatown, and we sincerely thank you. If you say yes, then you will have opposed our wishes.
Yeah.
Giovanni Gutierrez?
Hi, my name is Giovanni. I live in Chinatown. I also went to Malasas High School, one of the 3 schools, not just one school there. And I went to the after school program, which ends at 5 p.m. So that's the peak hour students get to the park. And I spend time with my friends there. Please don't expose the children to this. Don't expose children to random people. Who knows this expansion, this permission, what kind of people will attract to the place. But as Mark guess, is people who may end up harassing or endangering children. So please don't do that for children. This permit brings nothing positive to our community. Let's not pretend it's private business cares for us, because they don't. They don't reflect the people that live in this community. This is gentrification, plain and simple. I ask you to go no to this permit and not to do it, and just do it with the children in your mind. Would you go yes if your children went to one of those 4 schools?
Alice Lynn? Lou, yes, LIU, sorry.
For those of you who are on the committee who don't pass through here every day, let me give you some context. I live 1 block away, and every day I see them operating illegally. They are already appropriating public space by taking up road and pedestrian sidewalks. They also take up the sidewalk, the parking lot that Pace High School teachers use to operate their nighttime business. I repeat, they're already using the school entrance and the parking lot without permission. This bar has become, according to GQ, the hottest club in New York City, and it serves purely white people, celebrities, and yuppies, none of which are people from this community. This bar uses a fire hydrant space, which raises safety concerns. They're also not capable of maintaining a 15 feet egress lane for emergency vehicles, since Forsyth Street between Canal and Hester is not wide enough to accommodate that plus tables. And it's also close to multiple schools, Pace High School, Emma Lazarus High School, Sun Yat-sen Middle School. It's also close to a place of worship, the Greek Orthodox Church on Forsyth Street, which then is disrupting our children's learning and neighbors worshiping. So then I also bring back up,
Sorry, time,
who is this serving?
thank you. Thank you all. We're gonna go to those folks that are joining us online. So if you want to speak, please put your hand up. You'll have 1 minute.
Louise Garza is the first one.
Hi there. Hi there, everyone. I'll get straight to it with the time constraints. First off, the lack of communication between SLA, DOT, and the community boards has put operators of restaurants and bars at a disadvantage. The community should be first and foremost be the priority, but given the lackluster nature of the dining out program, operators should only be given a fair chance. Some are referencing summers past when we were in a lawless open streets program at the time. This should all be taken into account and consideration going forward. I asked the representatives of DOT and SLA to ask themselves if they have given operators a fair chance, if they truly feel that the dining out program was part of the initial community. Thank you again for your time.
Daniel Tano.
Hi, everyone. I'm Daniel Tano. I'm on the community board of not on either committees.
frequent walker is,
Daniel, I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
yes.
Please try again. We can't hear you.
There's
From the
feedback.
Sorry, yeah, I'll, I support all the residents, but I also think this is an inappropriate open street. It doesn't help to calm traffic or get rid of parking, and it's not the proper use. I think you should vote no.
Andrew Poe.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Oh, my name is Andrew Quo. I have lived in this neighborhood for 25 years. That is a bad neighborhood in terms of heroin. And ever since these great guys moved in, I mean, the open heroin use has been curtailed. And if we want to talk about New York City and safety and culture, not everyone is going to agree on what's good for this city. But to make it usable and to make it alive is complicated, but it is a good thing. These guys are good people and I support them.
Jeremy Cortez.
Hi, Jeremy Cortez here. I just want to give most of my time to those who accidentally went over. But I do want to say, as our representatives, hopefully you are listening to the community and continuing to protect it, as those have spoken today. Thank you.
Brandon.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Brandon Wallace. I work with the guys over at Time Again. I just got brought in with my security team in the last 3 months. We've done everything we can do to try and, listen to the feedback that we've gotten from whether it be the 5th precinct or the firehouse next door. I work closely with both. This was also a suggestion of theirs to us to try and involve the community more, which I thought would be a great idea. I think the gentleman before me just spoke about how the violence and the drug use has gone down, and that was directly correlated to us via the 5th precinct. So, I was hoping that this would be a more widely accepted thing. You know, I'm just sharing my opinion and my thoughts. I believe that we are making
Share
a better.
my thoughts. All right, brother. Yes.
I'm sorry, that's extremely rude, but okay, thank you.
All right, folks, you have to respect each other's. I know we are in a room with some differing points of view, but you need to respect people. Please, thank you.
Last one's Catherine Freed. Catherine Freed. You have to unmute. She's there.
All right, Catherine, we'll come back to you in a minute. We actually did get one in person. So we're gonna allow that person to speak.
One more in person, Sarah Kenny.
That's me. So I fully agree with everything that's been stated. One thing that has not come up yet, the proposed site is right at the end of a very fast speed for cars coming out to a very slow speed for cars. I see people almost get hit. It's on my way home from the B train. I support open streets. This one's not a good idea. It's really that simple.
Yeah, try Catherine.
Catherine?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yay. Okay, I'll make it really quick. As a former council member for this area, I know how important the area that you're looking at is to the school as far as getting the faculty and staff in and out. It's used a lot by the parents. The whole area has been used, particularly in the summer, as a staging area for some of the events for the kids. So it would be curtailing a lot of the space they use. As a member of the Parks Committee of CB3, I also know the problems we've been having with Sarah Delano Park. And this seems like a terrible use for an area that we have so many problems with. It certainly is not something the community wants. I think there have been numerous noise complaints about this bar. You've heard from people who live nearby. I really think this is a bad use, and it is just nothing that that the community needs.
That's it. Oh, there's one more. Here, well, yes, Solomon.
Hello,
Go ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great. Yeah, I'm a member of this committee, but unfortunately I couldn't make the meeting in person. I would to no one really hello?
Can hear
Can you still hear me? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would like to speak in support in the sense that I think that dedicating space to cars is a bad idea, and having space for parking for a small amount of parking is not worth the potential benefits of adding more open streets. However, I also would like to acknowledge the noise complaints, and I would like to make sure that doesn't happen in the future, and make sure that that will happen to stop the noise.
Thanks, Solomon.
That's it.
All right, so that concludes, just like for the public comment period. Again, really appreciate you all coming out here tonight. I did want to just mention beforehand, that, you know, just from a standpoint as that there was a lot of letters received at the Community Board 3 office as well. Those letters were, came in what, the last day or two, I guess?
Friday, I think it was mostly Friday and today.
Friday and today. And so we, Clint and myself, were able to just, you know, kind of go through there, you know, kind of get the breadth of what was stated there. There was over 80 letters received against this open street. So just wanted to state that we didn't see anything that came in after 2 p.m. And that is just want to put that out there. We also just received, as part of that letter campaign, there were a few organizations, Think Chinatown, Chinatown Core, that also received information as well. So just want to get that out there. So we have, you want to do the next open street before we go?
Because you're voting on it at the same time, right?
Yeah. So let's do the other one. Okay, so just hang tight. We have one more open street that we're going to get to on the agenda, and it is Stanton Street from Essex Street to Norfolk Street. This is the community partner with DOT, would have been More Gardens Fund. They are requesting from September 6th, 2025 to September 28th, 2025, a Saturday and Sunday closure from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Just wanted to ask if anyone from More Gardens Fund was here to speak.
So what happened is I didn't get their contact information from DOT till today, so I didn't get to invite them till today. Because when we get the letters, we don't get contact information. With Nick, I already had his contact information, so it's, I don't want to blame them for not coming.
Okay, and so I'm a member of the garden. I don't know, maybe I can mention what happens at the garden. I'm on the open street. Would that be appropriate?
Are you okay with it? Yeah, let's do it.
So this open street is right in front of the Children's Magical Garden, which they are the ones that are running the open street. It's doing a bunch of community programming, mostly for kids. So they work with nonprofits to get different, you know, kid programming, family-friendly programming on the corridor. It's not related to an open restaurant at all. I think the only other businesses on that street are a yoga studio and a tattoo parlor.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Sean. Is anybody, I don't think we received any speaker form, so we can keep moving on.
Could I say something in favor? This is the best possible use of open streets. More space for kids to be within gardens. That rules.
Thank you. Okay, so just so everyone knows, what happens next is that the public session is more or less finished on open streets. The committee is going to talk about it. I also just want to mention too is that You know, just to kind of clarify a little bit too, we don't have the ability to outright deny open streets. What we're gonna be discussing here is modifying if we, the application, if the committee so chooses, this joint committee. So just so you all are aware, like that's how it is. We don't deny it. So I just want to say that, because we can. So with that, I'm gonna bring it back to committee and, I think maybe the easiest, if you guys are okay, just to kind of just start on one end and just go down. Is that okay?
All right, for sure. Kenya Hernandez, I've heard a lot about the parking. And I don't think in the supporting team, I don't think that's a real topic here. I think it's a community being affected. And they're saying, listen, this is not a good proposal. Open streets is not gonna benefit the community. There's gonna be more profit than people, and I oppose it. Woo!
I just want to acknowledge that there was one person who was Black who spoke and they were laughed at and called brother. And I just hope that we can acknowledge that that was not okay, because I will not be okay if I do not say this out loud. I also want to say that there were a couple of things that were just to clear up some like facts. There's no entrance to the park adjacent to Time Again. The entire block is zoned commercial, and the dead end where this is actually mostly no standing, if you can look at the signs there. So there's like maybe 2 spots that sometimes are allowed. I think that DOT should talk to the school before we go forward with this. It seems like they didn't talk to them, so I would actually think that maybe we want to like. Kyle, are you still on?
Yeah, he's there.
Yes, I am here. We have not directly engaged with the school about this application yet, but we'd be happy to do so.
So I sort of think that we should pass a resolution that says they need to talk to the school and come back. That would be my suggestion.
Thanks, Michelle. Nancy?
I don't need to repeat everything.
Well, we can vote against it.
I mean, resolution 2.
I just, you don't have to say, but we have to.
There's modifications because we can't deny it.
I mean, you can, it's just not
Well,
gonna do any
we
good.
can, but then-
It's just like, we kind of want to.
If we deny it, most likely DOT would have to approve it with what's been submitted.
So just for me is like, I appreciate everyone coming out here, just from the community on this. Open Streets as a program, I'm just a really big supporter of it because I think it does give community support. If you were here 2 months ago, lots of good conversations that occurred about open streets. I have children in the community. They use the open street for just more time without vehicles. We are a community that have too much vehicles. So as much space that we can kind of claw back from the vehicles, give to pedestrian use. My issue here is that I don't see any community involvement here. I'm looking at the times that are given, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. It is strictly for use for an establishment versus really the spirit of the program being more for a community driven. I would have loved if there was more outreach many months ago about this. We all knew Open Streets was coming. I would have loved to have seen more outreach to the community. You've got the parks departments are right adjacent. You've got the school that's really adjacent. If, it is a stub, I don't like little public areas being used for private vehicle parking, especially in something like that adjacent to the school. There's other uses for the community. We need an open space in this community. I love that Sarah D is there. That's a small park for the amount of people that live in the Lower East Side. We need more open space. This space should have been, and it could have been this beautiful coming together of different agencies of like how we can re-envision this space that, yes, there's some private use of it, but there's a lot of public use of it and a re-envisioning of it. And I just don't see that. I'm not hearing it. I'm just, and that's kind of my issue with this whole deal here. And it's really hard for me because I love Open Streets. I really do love the program. So it's really difficult for me to say this, but I do want to modify it. I really do want to say something about going back to the school and having DOT really engage the school with this. So that's where I am.
I will echo, pretty much what I've heard, but I do think given this issue that Michelle brought up, I think we do need to I think our resolution maybe should be that they go back to the school at this point, and we need an answer on that before I feel like I could accurately support or vote for something.
So I'm actually very surprised to hear, and this isn't a shot at you, Katie, but that DOT did not communicate with the school in advance. It's unacceptable. I can't understand why they wouldn't have done that. And as to Clint's point, I would not feel comfortable voting on this until we know what the communication is with the school and DOT. We've heard some of the concerns of the school about that, but on a larger scale, as the only committee member who voted 2 months ago against what was on the agenda at that point for open streets, after hearing some of the community talking out loud about what was going on at Diamond Square, I'm so glad to see such a large turnout of the community at this meeting, because at that last one, it was claimed that the community was here to speak, when in fact it wasn't. Rather than the gentrifiers, the privileged who attend these open streets, we need members of the community, whether they are elderly, whether they are Newark, whether they are business owners, property owners, or the children. It's those folks that we need to be concerned with, who are not going to be able to sleep at night because of the noise, because of the garbage, because of the open, the urination and defecation, because of the lack of facilities, because people are out on the street drinking and partying. And it's those people, mostly immigrants, especially in this part of the community, that we need to be concerned about, and their voices. And I think tonight is representative of that. And if, depending on what we hear from DOT, quite frankly, actually, I take that back. No matter what we hear from DOT, but there should absolutely be communication between DOT and the school. I could not possibly support this location for open streets.
Thank you, Lee. I echo the sentiments of my fellow committee members. I'm a big supporter of open streets, outdoor dining. However, I'm just not seeing the coordination with the community, with DOT, with different government bodies that really need it. It's right next to a school, man. So it's 7 days a week. Canal open streets was something different. There was a lot more coordination. There's coordination with our district manager about safety, security. It was reduced hours, reduced days. There's a lot more work going into that one. I'm just not seeing that here, and especially right next to a school. That's I think that requires more coordination and more effort, more outreach with the community, because our children are very important. We need to take care of them. So I can't support a resolution at this time without that coordination. So thank you.
Thank you, Michael. It's impossible to ignore the opposition to this application in this room. If we do push this to next meeting, provided that the applicant, reaches out to the school and DOT, and possibly some of the residents here, I think it would be very helpful for myself to make a decision to know maybe their discipline or complaint history at this location. It would help me make a better decision if, how we could be a better judge on, like, if they get a complaint, how well do they respond to this complaint, and what happens, what's the trend on their complaints?
Yeah, it's always hard to go last because everything's been said. I will say that I agree with a lot of the sentiments, the rest of the board here. I am a big supporter of open streets and rethinking how we're using our public space. I think it's a mischaracterization to call people in support of open streets gentrifiers or privileged folks or people who are not from the community. I think that's not really a great characterization. But I do think there's some nuances with this location that we can't ignore, and that we're hearing a lot of sentiment around. So I think the conversations with the school, engaging more of the community, is essential, because part of open streets is not just the reclaiming of the space, but it's the community being engaged and what that space will look like, what the recreation and the vision of that space will look like. Yes, we want more restaurants, businesses. We want that to flourish. We want people to have great places to go, to have a drink, unwind, eat some good food, laugh, and hang out with people. But we also want to make sure that it's nourishing the community.
Just add something. I'll just remind you of something else. So it's about the school building.
So I just want to emphasize again, probably for the fifth time, that that parking lot is not a private parking lot, is a New York City, it's a DOE parking lot, it's for the teachers, it's for the operations of the school. And then the other thing inside the building that wasn't mentioned is the Chinatown YMCA. They run a beacon center in the school. The center runs programs when the school is closed. It's like after 3 until 9 p.m. So the programs are for adults. They're also for young people, you know, all kinds of programs. So then you have, besides the students, you have another set of people also being impacted. So it's that program. So they need to be outreach. I mean, I know the schools and the Y all talk to each other, but they need to be reached out to separately in addition to the principals of the 3 schools.
They use the outside.
Yeah, maybe they have actually, they have used the outside, you know.
So I do have a question though, but, and Kate, I don't want to put you on the spot because you may not know this, but if DOT is able to put an open street for this, I would assume it's like that area, that stub that we're talking about is the DOT street, not DOE parking. Because that's, I mean, they might sign it as DOE, but it's DOT property, like.
So the roadbed is DOT property.
Are there signs that say that this is like, I mean, like, you know, like teacher parking, you know, that we see all kind of around all
I'm not
schools?
sure of the signage off the top of my head, but that's something we can go back and look at.
I have the signage actually pulled up right here. So it's a mix of 3 different regulations. It's no standing anytime and no parking between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m., which would allow for placard parking for teachers during certain periods of the day. So it's a mix of a few different regulations here.
Thank you.
I want to address the comment about the 5th precinct because I work with the 5th precinct all the time. We have certainly discussed the business, you know, over the years. And actually today at my district service cabinet meeting, they did not say anything negative, about the open street. But they also I don't think it's fair to characterize that they're saying that there's less heroin use because of this activation. They absolutely did not say that to me when we discussed it. And I don't think you can really quote a person without their permission and without, you know, some documentation.
Okay. Did anybody else have on the committee want to talk about the other applicant?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in support of it. It's great. Great use, great use.
Volunteer with us, yeah.
All right. Okay, so are you able to pull this? So just so everyone knows, I have put together just draft language for us.
Put together language?
Yeah, just to modify. Obviously, we talked, it's gonna be a little bit different. That helps me.
So could we ask you
Smaller.
Oh, Kate, is it possible to ask you to come back next month with DOE? Like, is that something that we can ask you to do or like? Because again, I think it is surprising to hear that DOT hasn't had any conversations with the school right there. Obviously, the street is being used by the school. It'd be good to have that information. We're taking somebody else's word that the school principals are against it. I think 3 principals were stated. I want more understanding of their support or not. And I think the committee would agree with that. Is that before us to
And the
take
Y
any
as well.
stance?
in the, yeah, the one. YN.
Sure, I can definitely take that back, and see, and Kyle's on as well. It would be outside of the 45-day comment period. I think we're always willing to come back to CB3 to talk about an open street and how we can amend it or change it or bring other partners in.
So would we, I guess the question I will ask the committee here is, if that's the case, do we want to put in, I don't know, like So put in
have
some
to
other
act on
things,
it.
if we have to act on it, put in some like a, you know, like some type of statement. I don't know what that would be, but.
Can I speak?
Sure.
So DOT has always allowed us extra time when we needed it, beyond time. And I can't believe in a situation like this that they would say, first of all, we're already voting after 45 days and we already have the okay to do that. The agencies do work with community boards. And I can't imagine that they wouldn't allow us to give our comments at the end of July, considering that a major stakeholder hasn't been approached. I mean, don't you agree with that?
Could I ask when is the meeting in July? Do we have it calendared yet?
I don't have the date right with me, but it would be the full board vote, which would be the fourth Tuesday.
The full board, so the end of July.
We would ask you to come to the committee, but the full board vote would be the fourth Tuesday.
And when
But,
is the committee meeting?
yeah, July 8th.
July 8th, okay.
I have a question. Oh, Jesus, so sorry.
Well, can we get it? Kyle, could you respond to the committee request? I mean, can we wait and engage with the stakeholder if the committee chooses? I just want to know the options.
It's something that Kate and I need to just bring back to our leadership. Something that I think I mentioned at the last community board meeting is that we're working within the permanent legislation and program rules that we're legally bound to, which say once we advance the application, we have the 45-day notification period, and the community board and electeds and members of the public are supposed to share time within that framework. So we would just need to triple check that it is okay. I think.
I believe we're already over 45 days when our full board votes, and that's been okay. It's only like a day or two, but you know.
Yeah, I think
the law does seem to allow that.
I think for the purposes of the conversation that we heard tonight and everything else, we can extend the comment period a little bit longer and come back in July.
What was
He
that?
said that we can likely extend the comment period and come back in July.
So you have the option.
I think we should just triple check, but that I think is going to be fine. Yeah. I do think, you know, similar to what has happened at other sites like the Canal Open Street. Oh, sorry, also turn my camera. The application can completely be amended. You know, right here they're proposing 7 days a week from 5 to 11 p.m. The thing to note is that, you know, Open Streets has rules, it has guidelines, it'll have an official framework for this restaurant to work within, or this bar to work within, you know, keeping a certain clearance from the fire hydrant, making sure there's a certain setback from the crosswalk, maintaining the emergency lane. So there are rules that are in place. And, you know, from my perspective of what I've been able to see at Canal Street is that for the most part, the rules are really working. And is it perfect? By no means, but we're working towards a program that has a permanent framework that honors all of the community concerns that we've heard tonight and really factors them into how these sites operate. So like I said, we're happy to you know, just confirm that we're able to come back in July. I think it should be fine. But if not, you know, it is in your best interest to at least look to pass some sort of resolution that asks for not only a reduction in days and times, if that's what we're looking for, but also some of the other stipulations of the community concerns that were flagged tonight.
We're saying amending it the only option? Is it, you're saying we can't vote, we voted against it, right? And that's our option, then DOT takes into account Louis' vote, right? CP3's vote on this.
What we're asking is if the board denies it, is there a chance DOT is going to deny it?
we would have to go back and discuss with our colleagues, CB3's resolution and the outcome of all the feedback that we've received. I can't say definitively, what our decision would be after this meeting, but you have the option to say that you're against it.
It's
Because I
very
feel like
unlikely they're
the
not gonna
ask
have
here
any.
is, they don't want it at all, not to amend it, not any days, right? That's
true.
what I'm being clear.
I'm gonna be realistic. I mean,
can't be that.
Kate kind of has to say what she's saying. I'm gonna be realistic. It's very unlikely. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's very unlikely. This, I will say it's unusual because of the school. It's not like most open streets, even, it's not even like Canal's open street. So it's unusual. You can take a chance. I mean, there is probably more reasons, and I'm saying not only community support, I'm talking about the use of the school, the after-school programming, that kind of thing. If I can just make one more comment, if you decide to modify, I would be concerned about events. And if I can just kind of explain, even to address Nick, there was complaints about a week ago because of a Nike event, and I misunderstood. I thought after talking to you, that had nothing to do with you, but they actually were unpermitted, but they were somehow associated with you when they planned it, right?
We had asked them, we had said we are absolutely not allowing any DJs or outside music whatsoever unless we see a permit. Nike said that they were applying for a permit and getting a permit. It's Nike.
But they were doing this in coordination with you, the event.
Correct, yes, as well as the
So-
event last week, which did get
So
a
what,
noise
what
permit.
happened is a week ago, we're coordinating an outdoor sports event that was supposed to be permitted. SAPO, they didn't get a SAPO permit. I don't know if they didn't apply or didn't get it. They didn't get the sound permit. They continued to have it outside. I got complaints. So I think anything you do really, really has to be concerned with outdoor events, because this is happening as we speak.
Okay. So is it worthwhile to take a straw poll? Because like Kenyelle, I would also be opposed to this applicant. Is it worth taking the straw poll to see whether or not we should modify, or, perhaps there's more of us would be in favor of opposing it, so we don't even have to get to the resolution.
I'm good with, yeah, we read my mind. Yeah, I think that's where we are right now. Guys. All right, so if we, I guess I'll take a hands on, well, actually just go down, start with you. If you want to just deny the application as received.
Deny.
Or modify, sorry, deny or modify. Okay,
I'm sticking to what I said before.
what's that? You want to
Come back,
come back with no modifications?
come back and we decide then after.
Okay, so just so I understand, so
I feel like we don't have all the facts.
take a risk that DOT may move forward or not, I
Yeah.
guess. Okay, all right. Nancy?
We couldn't deny, but deny.
There's no one that says you can't.
I
I'm just
know,
saying realistically.
I know, but I'm just saying,
You can, you
yeah.
can do anything you want when you vote.
I'm just saying. And when I said earlier, deny, I was
Yeah.
told I couldn't, but anyway, that's.
So deny. This is really hard for me, so actually, I have to actually go, I want to take the risk and deny this as well, and that DOT will.
I mean, I have to look at this like I normally would think about a liquor license, which is a whole different process, but I don't know, I'm gonna lean toward the transportation
Yeah.
committee, which if they say we can deny, I think maybe we should deny it, but if it's a risk that the community is willing to take, then I would leave that up to them.
So with the guidance from Susan that she believes that DOT and that DOT may take the community input heavily, weigh it heavily, I would be opposed to bringing this forward. So I'm for denying.
One clarification though too, assuming I'm thinking like a liquor license, but if we were to deny, that means there's nothing. That means if the DOT would move forward, they would approve it with what is here in writing. Is that correct?
Not necessarily, right?
Not necessarily. We would still be open to more feedback from the community. If you said you wanted to reduce the days and hours, I think we would really heavily consider that.
Well, but I guess my question is, if we deny it tonight, we're not giving you any of that.
They will come back, they will
Okay.
consider. They've heard from the community.
And they'll come back to this committee.
Okay.
So wait, I think we're saying two different things here.
Yeah.
Because
That's what I
actually,
was-
because
That's what I was confused.
I'm liking where this is like kind of like where I'm sitting is that we would deny asking DOT to come back with more information next month. That's kind of where I want to go to. And I think I actually started maybe confusing it. So I want to start this again, because I think because I think we do need to be clarifying. It's like deny with a request for DOT to come back with more information next month, from the school. That's kind of where I am. I'm sorry.
Do you guys want to hear that? I'm asking you as a community, as supporting the community.
Wait, but
I wanna see
yeah.
wait,
Yeah.
wait. Sorry, I just want to get clarification. So if we say deny, right? DOT can still move forward, but if we're saying modify.
That
or-
confuses me too,
That's what I.
to be honest. I thought it was come back or deny or modify. That's what I thought the three things were.
But and I guess the reason why I think I am confusing this, and I apologize, is that we wanted to deny, but like even when they come back, I actually want to modify what's presented here too as well. And so maybe that's something that is a decision.
I would
My
maybe suggest that you don't approve or deny and just ask us to do that further outreach and analysis, and then you can make a further determination at the July meeting.
So that's not denying or approving, it's just saying come back.
I just want to clarify that the choice to deny is on the table
Right.
after today, even though we told them to come back, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Can I just, I think deny is probably the wrong word to use here. It's probably like not support rather than
Oppose?
deny, because we can't actually
Right. I
Well,
deny,
but
does that make
that-
sense? You know what I mean?
But
As
that's
a
what-
board, we're denying this,
But we
right? That's what-
can, I mean, that's what we were just asking.
I know, but I'm just saying like to get people to understand. It's not like we have like the stamp to actually say this won't go forward.
It's
That's what I mean,
only
yeah.
an advisory recommendation.
Right.
That's
That's
very
fine.
good to
I
clarify.
think we should
Thank you for that.
clarify. If we use the word deny, it's not like DOT can't move forward. They can move forward.
Right,
That's the
right.
risk. I think that's where we're
Right.
trying to
But
clarify.
it's not just, it's the reality. It's
Reality,
not just a risk,
sorry.
yeah.
So if we say we don't support it, then, but they still have to go back and do more work and then come back.
If we write a resolution asking them to come back, they will come back. They're not gonna automatically come back.
So if we say we don't support it, right, DOT could potentially take community input and modify, but then not come back. Is that correct?
It's just very confusing because you're saying two different things. You're saying, I'm denying it and I want you to come back. Well, if it's already denied, why would they come back?
What will you do if we say we don't support it? I guess is
We're-
what I'm trying to.
Yeah, I
get.
think we're definitely gonna have a conversation about whether or not to move forward with the application. And if you also said we'd like DOT to come back and talk more with, or talk to DOE and come back to CB3, we would likely do that as well.
I think that's as far as things, I mean,
Well, I feel like because I think if we're gonna do an opposed and ask DOT to come back, we probably then
We
want to
can't do that.
well,
I think that, I think.
I
that they
think
want
that's
us to
gonna
come
take
back.
some time to write what that looks like when we get back to DOT, so
But if they come back, they're coming back to just change it up, or they're coming back with the option to,
Whatever.
well, then whatever we want to do as a committee at that point,
At that
getting more
point.
information, we can then make a final
a
decision.
better, okay.
Can you say we do not support it because of lack of stakeholder outreach and enough information and therefore want DOT to come back?
And superior, like a lot of community, opposition, that's a big factor here. The community doesn't want this.
Yeah, but
You
so
let
you're
that
not
be.
denying, you're not approving it, But you're saying you don't support it as it is at this time.
At this time.
I just want to say that we hear all you guys, and we're gonna talk amongst ourselves. We're not here to make enemies. That's all I'll say. We'll modify and suggest something.
I don't think we're saying you're a bad guy. I just think we don't think your
I
ideas.
totally get it. I totally get it.
So just to be clear, sorry, the problem is if we don't say anything, we just say we don't support it, they're not required to come back. They could make another, right? Or is that not?
They're not required to
Right.
come back, but they are
So-
willing, but they have stated that they are willing to come back and work with us.
So if we say we don't support it because of all these reasons and make them come back, we can then have another review to make sure, you know,
You're not making them come back.
Asking, sorry.
Yeah, because they are extending the timeline for us. I mean, I will say they are
That's what-
working with us and they are extending the timeline for us.
If I could, let's assume DOT and DOE get together and DOE suddenly says, you know what, you guys are able to work something out. The community input here, though, is that won't matter. That's a component. The DOE's issue is one component, but the rest of the community certainly, as judged tonight, is opposed to it completely. So while DOT, again, I think we all agree, should have communicated as part of this process, and fell down on the job by not reaching out to DOE, which is heavily affected. I think we should still move ahead with either opposing it completely, or you're going to have something perhaps with modifications. But I think opposing it completely should be an option on the table for us.
We're still with the three options. Is it oppose, ask them to come back, or support with modifications?
Okay. Yeah, just as three, so.
Can you say do not support and ask to come back? Is-
I'm gonna write
phrase
that
it
down
that
just
way?
so.
Do not support, ask to come back, or
No, just do not support and ask them to come back. That's one.
do not support and ask them to come back. Do not support.
Or asked to come back with a modified application.
Well,
No.
just,
Don't modify.
not asking.
I'm
them-
sorry, this is for us to speak. I
Sorry.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Just ask them to come back.
And support modifications, support with modifications.
Or deny.
Okay, so here are the three options. No one's gonna vote yet. So we have do not support and ask to come back. Second one is support with modifications. And then the third is recommend denial. Let's do a straw poll on where we are.
The first one.
Nancy.
Deny, but I have a question.
Oh, Nancy.
Sorry, but if I say deny, but they can, DOT can work out another agreement, right? And then they don't have to come back. That's what I'm worried about. There's a risk that they can work.
I don't think, that's not gonna happen,
I
right?
think we're willing to come back to the table. We've done it with the other.
That's what you
open
keep saying, I know.
streets. But yeah, I understand.
They always do. They never say, I'm never gonna speak to it again.
Okay. Deny.
Deny, okay? I'm do not support and ask to come back.
First one, I'm gonna ask to come back.
Lee?
Deny.
Do not support.
Ask to come back.
First one, do not support, ask to come back.
Do not support, ask to come back.
So it's 6 for do not support and ask to come back, and then 3 for recommend denial. Okay, so we're gonna move forward with the first one with our resolution. So we actually, this is gonna be annoying. Cause we
Thank
gotta
you.
break out same street. So I think we just gotta take out 4, so I think we're back.
It's your first.
I would have liked to have seen the.
Can't you just do two different resolutions? One for each. I don't know how you usually do it, but I would suggest just do it.
We've never done it before.
Do we do two resolutions, you think? Is that better or put it all in one?
I would just put it in one.
No, he's talking about for Stanton Street and for this.
Oh, yes,
I-
because
They're 2
you're.
different.
Just
the way
because
you're
you could
doing it.
send them
So do
back to
Stanton,
DOT.
Stanton 1. Yeah, just do Stanton as 1, and then that way it can be.
Do you want to just do your bullet points and write the resolution afterward?
We have it pretty much, yeah, it's up there. Yeah, and then I guess, and then take.
You think if you prepared for the unexpected?
They just do a second.
Like 5 meetings. Are you guys executive?
Have 5 meetings between this week and next.
Somebody's gonna be adjusted.
I think it'd be really helpful to clarify. No, is it? People think it's.
Security guys.
What they're allowing.
Between the outreaches.
My understanding is that the DOE, if they have the placards, can park.
I have a
So,
question.
and maybe.
Did you say they coordinated with the Parks Department? Because they have like Chinese movie night.
So other people can use it even while
Whereas we.
if DOE is parked there with placards.
So
other
if you're gonna
people-
specifically say, talk to the school,
Say talk to the street,
He was not
then
clear.
anybody can park anywhere.
Whereas.
Yeah, which is
Yeah, we
fine.
can
It's
clarify.
very confusing.
No,
It'd be
I
just good to find all that.
Well, it might mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would just be, but people don't understand that, so it'd be good to clarify. That's all I'm saying is tell us exactly what it is.
Sorry, I got
I
you
love
off.
that. I got this when I was in Brussels in a parking, it was a parking lot that had an antique fair.
I think it should, I think there should also be.
That also reminds me of my trips.
She runs.
That's not there. She was there, she just, I was gonna run after her, but I saw her.
So what the in-house needs to do.
They will use an access.
Yeah, that, yeah, in front of their front, in front of the, this guy. I shouldn't have backed that in.
You probably should.
So he said. So then he said this stuff. And so then he said, and said.
Oh, I have it.
I just want to clarify, it wasn't really a fundraiser. He hosted it.
21, 21
He did
as well as
specific,
80 letters.
generally supported. Specific.
So 21 appears, 21 people appeared as well as. Maybe 8 letters probably needed. Open bars.
Yes. He's saying he just wants to be so and then I said, why are you bringing it up? I said, the other thing is, he said he would not take a position.
Are you guys confused as to-
Actually, there was. Okay. Yeah, I said, what
DOT is here.
So why would you do it? So then he sent me the things like, I said,
Yeah.
It took 3 times in writing, stupid enough to put it in writing.
Oh my God, I forgot words.
Just so you can.
And then we're community rights
Are you still? We don't want people to.
I was, he was on my district service. It's like, no, he did not say that. Because he's, that's where I am.
Yes.
That's how I found out. Sound permit and then it was something.
It seems like already is.
Can I pitch that you also include that this is designated environmental justice area?
And then if the committee's like,
I don't mind, because I'm like, okay, we'll give it to the full.
Yeah,
And we'll deny it.
You gotta find it out there.
It's just one.
Time because last like restaurant.
I mentioned the school and why specifically. I mentioned the school.
They're like, what's strong?
Yeah, this
Earlier hours. Realize, oh wow, he's already renovating the space.
I'm like invested in this.
You know, and so he was like, if tonight, I'm
Why?
sign the lease.
It's not considered, it's designated.
Like make it less, like.
Yeah, at a certain point, just like ambient.
I mean, like, I think,
You can log in too.
like, if I wanna like.
You can set all that up. That's how I like do hospitality.
I work with like, last month, and he was like 20-something years old, he's like, he never owned a bar or anything in the neighborhood. Oh, go right, you weren't there.
But for POS network, and it's like a giant place. It's size operators, so I feel like
They have like, Sandy's not on there.
like an iPhone.
I left work without the laptop.
Yeah, Shannon was, you know, somehow,
I have my phone, I'm in like desperate.
It's, it's a specific thing, like Grant Street co-ops are for seniors that are
In Vietnam and power.
Confucius. It is, but this is.
And I
not.
wanted to go to.
That's interesting, so it's actually.
Yeah, I just, it's my time wisely.
In terms of I think they're only 1 year.
Nobody here. I was gonna ask someone from that organization, it's a nonprofit, in the early ones. Okay. They have their own.
Yeah.
She was on the corner from me.
Okay.
On Duane and,
It's not on the agenda. It's on nuance, I get it.
You're like, oh, this.
A little bit. Waste of time. Yeah, get it, and like,
Yeah.
I know, it's hard to put this hard to. Yeah. Very much so. Third of the timer, you gotta see who you are. Yeah, you gotta establish. Yeah, set the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys have a nice outdoor space over there,
That's always hands up. I know, you're like, oh, you're right.
No, we did the city. Okay.
We'll clean it up.
Excuse me, can I ask
Hi, everybody. Committee guys, committee folks.
Okay.
Hi, we're gonna, can everybody read the streets so we can just approve? I don't wanna read out loud, but if you all can just, on the committee here, just read the resolution that we're proposing.
But no, we're saying they're not resubmitting, the whole thing is coming back next month. Oh.
It would come across as in support.
So what, do they listen to that? So we said. We support this change.
Yeah, we read it.
No, what we're doing now is saying we don't support. We could have said we support only with these changes. We, you know, only till 10.
Yeah, away from the school.
Yeah, so it can make a big change. It does, no, we changed last 2 months ago, we changed one.
We should put it in there and therefore be resolved as a.
Really, you're making a change, you made a big.
Putting that in.
Yeah, that's gonna.
There's a new.
Guys, we're thinking that we're gonna just take and add in with further community outreach to adjacent schools.
That's why I think could be.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're not saying that.
I guess that's just my feeling, sorry.
No, we're not saying that. We, it's been foisted on us. Yeah, so we're saying how much change.
Love my to be like.
It's your community.
All about
You meaning.
You can, like.
Yeah,
You know, it actually,
Yeah, no. This organization.
Andrea's up for.
Thank you.
Where is it? Where,
Any tips?
My
sign, my route.
I know, I didn't really think it was gonna be like.
Love it. Hey, any,
I think it would be great, the applications are in December. See what you're interested in, and you can make change, you really can. People think if they don't change the world, that they're successful. That's not the way it works. You make a little bit of.
It's good.
And, you're not gonna change Washington, but you're gonna change your.
A lot of it is navigating.
This, it was wonderful.
right,
We
we ready to vote
didn't,
on this?
we don't know.
Not really.
Alright, we're gonna take a vote because we gotta keep moving because I have another meeting.
Yeah,
Uh,
guys.
Hi. Let's take a vote.
That work?
We're gonna do a vote. So, just give me a yes or no, if we go down the line of, as this is the resolution, that we all just reviewed.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
No, only because I'm fully opposed to.
Understood.
Yes.
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 Great.
Yes.
Eight yeses and one no.
We're asking you guys to come back.
Okay, so thanks. We need to be out of here in 30 minutes. I've got another meeting to run here in 35 minutes, so I'm gonna just ask for you all to.
Wait, I
take
gotta
off.
do roll call.
Oh, we gotta do roll call.
Clint?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. Really appreciate it.
Yes, if you want.
Stephen?
Here.
Michael?
Hi, here.
Megan?
Very nice.
Sandy?
Take care.
Stephen,
Thank you, guys.
we never used any of your sitting in the office.
But I've already taken half of it.
All right. And books for transportation, we're gonna do get back on Monday or tomorrow.
Thank you guys. Sure, we'll be in
I
touch.
drank one when I was cleaning up.
You want the beer? You want the beer?
I'm not really a beer drinker. I don't watch my cars.
For next time.
Maybe for to make modifications. I'll be in Spain. I know.
Calling, can you come?
Yeah, I know.
It's just not.
We'll talk about that.
Thank you, Clint.
All right. Hi, transportation committee.
Hiya, guys,
Hi,
please.
I'm sorry. Transportation committee, we're gonna do a roll call. Yeah, we do.
Give you the invite.
Discussion, Sam.
Hey, Sean.
Oh.
Sean.
You wanna be on the map?
Sean.
Thank you so much. Sammy's law. Nancy.
I'm not going. You gotta stay.
Okay, block party. Susan, is that person from the block party still on?
He should be.
Yeah, don't put him.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Thank you. Hi. You are ready to go and talk about your block party on Eldridge Street from Broome to Delancey Street. I appreciate you sticking around.
Yes, yes, it's my pleasure. I just wanted to say hello to the board. My name's Andrew Rosenthal. I'd like to, I'm seeking approval for this block party for August 30th. Um, uh, as per the regulations, I wanted to make sure it's under 9 hours. I just wanted to have something to bring the community together, engage with the community and just show community support and, love and appreciation and gratitude and, something to close out the summer and get everyone together. That's pretty much all I have to say.
That's great. I just have a question for you. It's kind of like, is this kind of a loose kind of get together block party? Like, are you gonna have like sound systems, those types of things? Because there are certain other permits that you would be required to have.
Right. So when at the outset of like this whole entire thing, I'm like very new to this, so I didn't know exactly how to go about it.
Got it.
In my I'm sorry. You could continue.
So Susan Stetzler is our district manager. She just stepped out of the room.
Yeah, I met her. She's a lovely lady.
Great. So just, this is the first time doing it, so it needs help with like permits for like sound systems and anything like that.
I mean,
She can do it. Yeah. So, Susan, we are going to ask, the applicant to kind of, or Andrew, to speak with you just about like sound systems or anything like that, because it sounds like this is more of a community kind of get together on the street, but it's not really programmed. And so I just told him that he may require other permits.
Oh, they know all that stuff. It's because they don't come to us, they go to SAPO and we.
I don't know if Andrew knows that. Does he know that?
Yeah. You're, Andrew, you applied to SAPO, right?
Yes, I did. I did,
And,
yes.
so when we approve it, it's online, so all you need is like a 2-sentence thing, because I don't send a resolution anywhere, I just approve it online.
Okay.
And it says, when I approve it, because of the board's resolution, it says sound permit not to exceed 4 hours. But it doesn't come to us. It comes to SAPO, and we have an interagency portal that we then pick it. I mean, Andrew also came into the office, but he has everything he needs.
Okay, awesome, excellent. All right, Andrew, thank you. So I put a draft motion together for us to review. Can you all see it, or I can read it as well? You all read it.
All you need is like 2 sentences, because it's not going anywhere. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all done.
What?
It's all done.
But
It's
it's
all
not going anywhere.
Well, I made this and we're using it.
Well, you can vote on it, but it's not gonna be sent to any agency.
He just wants it.
For next time.
Excellent.
I'm good.
If you all read it, can we all just by a show of hands? All right.
Oh, amazing.
Excellent. Have a blast.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Andrew, for coming to us and going through the bureaucracy to make it legal.
No worries, it's my pleasure. Just one quick question. Susan, is it possible for me to come in and for you guys to, I know it's through another agency, but is there anyone that would be able to like guide me and support me through like doing these permits? I've never done it before, and I just want to make sure I'm in compliance with everything and getting it done in a timely fashion.
You need to, SAPO will help you. You need to do it with SAPO.
Okay.
I've never applied for the permits.
All good.
I've applied for one, and I could tell you, on your application, you're gonna be assigned a person. Call that number, and that person will answer all your questions and help you right through the process.
Okay. All right. I'll do that.
If you have problems, shoot me an email, but you won't. That's their job, and that's what they do.
So they'll see that you approved it and then they'll reach out to me. Is that how that works?
You keep looking, so we're going to approve it after our full board meeting, which is in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Go in online, you can go in to your portal and look and see the status, and if you have any questions, then you call SAPO. If you have any problems, let me know.
Okay, thank you so much, Susan. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a great night and a great week ahead.
Good night, thank you.
Good night. Bye.
Okay, the next the item is, this is Sammy's Law, so this is the, Kate is here.
Kate, you're
Thank you.
on.
You're on.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'll wait for you.
Thank you. So as part of the continued implementation of Sammy's Law, DOT is reducing the speed on several streets. We're reducing the speed on several streets adjacent to schools to 15 miles per hour. The schools we selected for this were previously had school slow zones, which were 20 miles per hour. And as some of you may probably recall from the Sammy's Law implementation earlier this year, we're reducing the speed limit from 25 miles an hour to 20 miles per hour in Lower Manhattan below Canal Street and Rutgers Street, excluding the FDR and West Side Highway. So the school slow zone streets are the speed limits being reduced an extra 5 miles to help differentiate from the new speed limit in the area.
Any questions? I think Michelle, go first. I think you were first.
Have you considered our request to extend the slow zone across more of the district?
So we've shared that with our research and implementation folks who are leading the rollout. I can definitely follow up with them on that, but I don't have an update at this time.
Okay, because this is like a very small sliver of our district we have this overlay, and we asked for everything below Houston. So basically just, move the line up. Because as per the resolution, we have terrible crashes and, pedestrian deaths and all that horrible stuff. So, yeah, I would love, I think that was almost a year ago now. That was like September 2024. So I would love an update on where that stands. Thank you.
I have no questions. I agree, Michelle. It would be good to have an update. I don't think we have to include that in the resolution because I think we can do that separately.
Do we need a resolution?
Any resolution for Sammy's?
You have
Already
you can send a resolution if you have any comments. There's a 60-day comment period, but we're going to move forward.
Oh, so we don't need to vote
We
on
don't
this?
need to vote.
It's just like an additional overlay, it sounds like.
All this writing for
I
nothing.
know, so good.
Look at it. It's beautiful.
You can say we support it and
We should
want
talk
more
before the
slow
We
meeting.
zones,
should.
but
Yes, we should.
We
that's
should.
what other
We voted
committees are
to-
doing.
Darn it. It's been too busy. That's why.
But we gotta go back to that.
Yes.
Yeah, I would just echo some of what we're saying, like, I think the big feedback is, between Canal and Houston, we're seeing some of the highest concentration of schools, right? Like, so the impact and the benefits of the 15 miles per hour is something that we really need in those areas. Especially with the Land C and Houston being such like heavy corridors for traffic. That's not residential traffic.
And this includes e-bikes and bicycles, correct? The speed limit covers every vehicle.
So bikes are expected to follow the rules of the road.
All right. Thanks, Kate. And so the next one is district needs update.
What, are we gonna vote on a supportive resolution?
No, we don't
You
need
don't
to.
need to
Okay.
vote
Oh,
on
she,
that.
you
You
already
already
said we
voted.
could.
If you wanted to.
I don't think we.
Nancy already voted.
Yes, I just wrote
You just voted?
I just wrote it.
No, we'll just toss that draft.
Oh, sorry, there's someone with their hand raised
Oh.
that wants to speak on Sammy's.
Rachel. Oh, you want me to? Okay, you can speak.
Hi, I know that you guys are like broadly in support of this, but I wanted to just take a minute to like express my support and while Kate is here, really make the case for like why this is so important, why we need it more broadly across our district. There's been a lot of conversation about e-bike safety lately, but people tend to overlook the disproportionate threat that vehicles are posing to New Yorkers. We have a very high rate of traffic fatalities, and speeding is a leading cause. District 1 had more than 2,000 people injured and 10 have died in the past 3 years, and car and truck drivers were vastly responsible for the majority of that, according to the NYPD, 99.96%. Lower speeds are just all around really good for public health. They lead to increased reaction time, less injuries, even just lowering 1 to 2 miles an hour. It's so important right now because the Stop Super Speeders bill, which would be common sense sort of safety laws for recidivist speeders, is being kind of just like punted in Albany. So I feel like, again, while Kate is here and while you guys are here as a transportation committee, I just wanted to make the point that like lower speeds are so, so important. And I just wanted to share that like this is really important to me. People are paying attention to this. I would love to see more lower speeds come to our district.
Thanks, Rachel. I appreciate that. Okay, so since we do not need to pass a resolution on that, we'll move on. The next agenda item we had here was the district needs update and budget consults questions. So I don't know if you had anything. I was gonna just kind of talk about our conversation.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention by next month, you should have a map of all the fatalities by intersection and a spreadsheet with all kinds of accidents, pedestrians, whatever, that kind of thing. So it's almost all done. So I think that will be helpful. It might be something that you can plug in, to the district needs. I also found out something today that I found shocking that concerns public safety, so that I would like to announce to you. The police department is doing away with all the NCOs, and instead they're having Q teams.
What's an NCO?
What is Q team? Quality of life. Our police commissioner has decided that the initiative that we're going forward is going to be quality of life, like instead of NCOs, so we will not have these street cops anymore.
Can you describe what NCOs are?
Neighborhood community officer, and they work directly with the community, with the businesses. They've been, I think they're pre-COVID, right? And people have gotten very used to working with them. They have quarterly meetings in the communities. They cover a small sector instead of a whole precinct, so they get to know people. So there'll be less of them, and the Q team will not be equal to the number of NCOs. There will be less, and they will be giving summonses. I don't know how, and particularly in our community, how this is going to impact immigrants, which is just something to think about. I found this out very accidentally. We were at our district service. I don't know if
Yeah,
you were
no, I
shocked.
heard it. I was really surprised by that.
Nobody's announced this. And I was asking the community affairs from PSA 4, Housing Place, can you give me the context for the NCOs at Smith Houses? And she said, sure. And oh, by the way, this is next month. By the way, they'll be phased out next month. And afterwards, someone sent me a press release, so it was made public. No one's come to us. So I just found that shocking.
Seems like a big change during the election season when.
It's about elections. It's all about elections, but the NCOs were such a big initiative.
So are these like patrol cops, these quality of life people?
They're enforcement cops.
Is it like broken windows again?
So what I want to know, whereas this is about public drinking and urination and all that. So are they going to come to the East Village on Saturday night and give summonses to our frat boys?
It'd be interesting to see.
That's what I want to know. So anyway, the reason I'm particularly telling you is because you can't write up anything now, but it might be something we want to look at for the district needs. And I will send you, then you could send the committee the press release I got this afternoon.
Okay.
It would be fun. And I
Pardon?
actually know the NCO for
people know their
Yeah,
NCOs.
and the idea is that people know about the quality of life teams, but they don't know that they're replacing NCOs. Is that the new thing? Cause the initiative wasn't, announced.
It was announced. It wasn't announced that we knew about. Like I said, someone sent me a press release, so I know that it was after the meeting.
Right.
So I know that it was announced, but did any of you guys hear
Oh,
about it?
no, I mean, the replacement of NCOs.
Oh.
Is that new news?
Yeah.
Cause I don't think that the quality of life announcement in
Oh.
April talked about that. It would be
That's what she said, right? That there will, NCOs, there will not be any, any.
Yeah, no, they said that they were
NCOs,
being
Yeah.
replaced.
and
It
that
says-
there'll be less Q team people than there were
It says
NCO.
personnel will come from internal restructurings at the NYPD
And
to
we're
enhance
certain
operational
that's not the pilot program, so the pilot has been moved to, because the pilot was, I think, 6 precincts where the NCOs were replaced with the Q teams, that was, I think, 2 months
yeah.
ago.
That was a pilot program?
Yes,
And which none of us knew. I will go back and read the press release. That's not the way this officer explained it today. I mean, like I said, I just found out this afternoon.
I'm on New York City's website and it's like a new patrol program.
what's
Yeah, I mean, I work for the city and I don't know.
Also, it's gonna be a patrol type of thing.
Well, it's a patrol enforcement, yeah.
Well, but this is like the neighborhood policing from with the,
Giuliani.
I was just gonna say, I was like that.
I do want them to come to East Village at midnight.
interesting. All right, thanks.
Okay, so I just wanted to tell you that. No, I had, I mean, I addressed your draft. I will have stats for you next week for the, like I said, the fatalities and that sort of thing.
And then just for you all folks, is that, we had this conversation last month, so I took all those notes that I had and kind of started reworking our new needs. But then I shared it with Susan and we discussed a little bit.
Party pooper.
She's a party pooper, which is fine. But it was like, I was getting a little too much into like policy, I think. And so which makes some sense to me, having that conversation where I was trying to tie our resolutions from the past year to like, is it because we're not getting these loading zones because they don't have enough staff at DOT? And that's why, we passed these resolutions and they're not kind of going anywhere. But I'm gonna try to rework how the language I have in there. So I'll just keep working on it and then
Put it on the agenda for next month.
Yeah.
So Kate, can I ask you to prepare for budget consults? We have to send in within the next few weeks and you guys don't have to vote. Anyone can send me questions. It's not a position. When agencies are short-staffed, we like to do budget priorities that address it. And is that something that would it be true to say the DOT is vastly understaffed and certainly, needs PS increases so they can hire inspectors and other staff?
I think that would be a fair request.
And if
Are you
there's
allowed
other-
to say that?
No, she is. She is allowed to say
We've
that.
definitely,
it's not a
people
budget
say
hearing.
these things to us and we respond back, but.
No, they are. I mean, we're gonna be,
Place the best.
we're going to be asking at the budget consult, how many less people do you have this year than you had last year, that kind of stuff. But if there's any other suggestions that are needs, that would have the agency work more effectively, please let me know.
Sure thing.
That's it. We'll take a roll call.
Me or somebody wants to send me questions for the police, I'll take that.
Questions for the police?
Vincent Cerrito,
May
Here.
awesome. Nancy Cohn, here, Lee Burnett,
Here.
Salma Fletcher, Sean Garcia.
Yeah.
Michelle Coopersmith,
Yes.
Jia Liao, David Crane.